All right. Hopefully, part three, class one. I'm not sure what happened to part two. But anyways, can you guys see the image that we're talking about here?
No,
I
we
see
see
you.
you. You see
Okay,
your
let's
photo.
share screen. All right, now do you see it?
No.
No?
Yes.
Oh, what I need to do, I'm gonna do stop share and pin myself. Okay, and now do share screen. Okay, now do you see it?
No.
Yeah.
Now we do.
Now we do.
Okay, so anyways, this is not Procreate, but just to give you guys a quick idea. So I can just go, this is the free version that comes with my computer. Like it's, literally the free editing software. It's so simple. And I do use this a lot. So let's just say like, looks like my horizon line's a little bit off, not straight, and it is
Yeah,
not.
it is just a little.
So then I can just, there we go, straighten that out. That's easy. Adjustments. And this is what I really like is I can just, ooh, moody. Oh, too bright. You know what I mean? I can just play with it. A lot more color in the foreground, a lot less, a lot more extreme, right? I mean, none of these are good or bad. They're all just ideas of ways that I could interpret this scene. And I have all these different things that I can just play with. I can make the shadows really dark. Oh, that's kind of cool, right? Really makes this much more important versus if I bring it up and all of a sudden all of these areas are now competing, but it's still beautiful. It's still interesting. Can add vignette to make the edges darker. Anyways, super fast. Black and white. That's one of the main reasons I use this is I actually turn so many of my photos into black and whites to paint from. So then I'm forced to make my own colors. We'll talk about that in future classes, right? Look how different. Watch this. Okay. So this isn't a reasonable scene, right? It's got something. It's interesting. It's got the value contrast, but I wouldn't be too attracted to that. But let's just slowly move up the saturation. This is something for those of you who are interested in tonalism. This is one of my main tools. Slight tonalism, right? Like you guys, each one of you is going to find a point as I'm scrolling up. You're going to be like, yes. Right. And that is so individual. Like I'm already starting to like it. Right. I like minimalism. I like desaturated colors. I love grays. I love earthy reds. I'm still attracted to it. I still like it. I think maybe this is maybe close to what I might want to paint. But maybe with the light here, the light behind the tree at this point, but maybe the foreground at this point, right? This is the original version. Now, doesn't this seem almost garish after you've seen the desaturated version? But for some of you, that might be the thing, and that might be a showstopper, right? It's getting acid, right, Beverly? I see your face.
Oh my God.
Oh my God.
But watch this. Keep the saturation up, but lower the temperature.
Oh.
Crikey.
Look at those purples.
You two enjoy your.
That's something I wouldn't have thought of, right, Graham?
Yeah.
Those beautiful counterpoint purples.
Extraordinary.
So that's what's so fun. And that's what Eloise was just talking about too, is like you get to play. Like it's like making 20 paintings.
Yeah.
Okay, this is a very basic question, but this is Lisa. When you talked about, what did you say? You reduced the saturation or you kept the saturation, but you and the temperature, those two still confuse me sometimes.
Oh, okay, easy.
Thank you.
No, yeah, no, thank you. So saturation is the depth of color. So saturation is, imagine pink versus bright, bright red, like a
Okay.
grade pink. All right, let's do saturation. So we're losing the color. It's going to the grays.
Okay.
So that's saturation. And this is truly a great question. Thank you. Right?
Yeah.
It looks like an atom bomb was just dropped.
Yeah, it does.
But I mean, there's artists that do this and make this
Yeah.
work, right? But maybe they do this.
Mm.
Isn't that
Yeah.
gorgeous?
I
Yeah,
love it.
pretty.
That is.
Right? I mean, we wouldn't paint this directly as we're seeing it, but I'm so inspired.
Mhm.
Just these purples and blues and, you know, other colors that I wouldn't see. I don't even know what this speckling is up here. So that's what's so fun about this experimentation.
But I think she wanted to know temperature. Temperature is red and blue kind of thing.
Yes. Okay. So let's go back. All right. Great. Yeah. Thank you for bringing me back. Always, always, always. You gotta. Ooh, squirrel.
Squirrel.
So saturation is the strength of color.
Mhm.
I love that.
Yeah,
I do too.
very nice.
Okay, so that's saturation. So let's, would you like me to pump up the saturation or do the saturation? Right, let's go right about there. Okay, so it's slightly desaturated, meaning the colors aren't as vibrant as they were, right? They're just slightly grayed down. So saturation is like black or is like grays, right? Warmth is temperature. Warm colors, cool colors, warm colors. Tint. Tint is where does the color lean on the color wheel? So I'm going to go up this way and it's going to go towards reds and purples. So all of a sudden right here, Graham,
I
we've
love
got
it.
one of your beautiful
I
skies,
love
right?
it.
Isn't that gorgeous?
Yes, it
Oh,
is.
look at that penumbra. Look at that yellow to pink to purple. Isn't that gorgeous?
It is.
So there's times where I'm like, especially with this free software, with the more expensive software, I could be combining all of these. But with the free one, I might just have 4 versions of this. Like, I love this sky and I like it here, but I don't like it here. I like the foreground to look more like this, or you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Visual storytelling for printers.
So let's keep doing tint. So these tints, right? Some of you guys are just turned on by this, right? And I don't mean turned on in a weird way, but I mean turned on like, oh, I love it. Maybe it's weird. Right? Some of you are just like, oh, I don't even know what this color is. Right? But that pink, and others of you would be like, I like that. I like the grayed down earthy blues and the yellowy ochre sky.
I don't know. Look at my emails and see what he said.
Right. And look at that. Look at the how when I turn the tint to the cools, you see these greens, these earthy greens that we don't even see in the other versions of it.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
I think we can use all of these elements. Right? I'm trying to tell the best poem I can tell. The poem is about this contrast here, about this motion here, about these horizontals here. You guys as artists, get to decide which of these colors.
Ooh, crikey.
But then you pull it down and that's nice. Look at these
Yeah.
fuchsias.
Yeah, yeah. That's nice.
Really different.
Right? And that's what's so fun about the digital thing. That's where like we can all complain, stupid kids today, they're locked into their computers and nobody sees anything, but this is the original image. And we just saw it done 20, 30 different ways, right, Nyla?
Mm.
And none of them are wrong, none of them are right. They're all just different ways of telling a story, not the story, not a story. There are different ways of asking the viewer to be a part of it. All right, so let's as a group, I love painting as a group. Let's adjust this and see where we want me to go. Okay, so brightness. Whew, too bright, in my opinion. You guys,
Mm.
first person that speaks up is right.
That's nice.
That's
Okay.
I agree.
Exposure.
I agree. Too dark.
Yeah. That's nice. That's good.
There.
Contrast. So contrast is going to be our lights and our darks. So contrast is going, the stronger I make the contrast is going to make the darks darker and the lights lighter. But that's awesome. That's so cool.
That is cool.
Ooh, that's
much.
different.
I like
Not
that.
too
Too hard.
much.
That's a Regina
much.
painting.
Yeah. Well, and like I could see Graham, that being
Yeah.
your sky. And Graham, you got to let us know. Do you want to be called Sandy or Graham on the class?
You can call me Sandy. That's my nickname.
All right, you're gonna have to change your name on the page.
That's good.
That's pretty.
That's
Right there.
nice.
All right, so highlights. Highlights is going to lighten my lights.
Ooh,
Or
yes.
darken my lights.
That's pretty right there.
Lighten.
Yeah.
Shadows are gonna darken my darks or
Lighten.
lighten my
Not,
lights.
ooh,
That,
Like that.
there. Maybe a little darker.
the trees disappeared now. Instead
Yeah,
of,
like there you go.
Okay.
That's good.
Vignette. I don't think we'll mess with vignette too much, but vignette is gonna darken the periphery.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And when you have the sun in the middle, like I like to do, like a backlit scene, a vignette can be pretty effective. What it does is it just tells the viewer nothing to look at here. There's a
Yeah.
lot of times where I will actually add a vignette to my painting by simply glazing in darks into the corners. What I'm telling the viewer is, stay in here, please. There's nothing for you out here. The world
like-
is flat and out here are dragons.
Good.
Here be dry.
Here there be dragons.
Mm.
All right, excuse me. I'm gonna grab my lemon water here. That's what I grabbed during the break. It's funny how speaking for 3 hours really gets you.
Mm.
Okay, so saturation. Nyla, how would you describe saturation? What is saturation in a painting?
Saturation is the richness of the color.
Boom, gold star, Nyla, you get to go home early. Congrats. Horrible. Getting better.
That's right.
Boom.
Okay, so we're gonna lock in that spot, but let's go down. Let's just test it. Do you guys see how all of a sudden the poem, this is where you guys said yes.
You got this through path of individual.
Do you see how that changes?
I like
How
that.
much quieter the painting is.
Mhm.
Padlet.
So do you guys still like here or do you like a little less?
Less,
Yes.
Yeah, less.
None of those,
there we go.
none of those.
Right about there,
A little bit more.
a little bit lower.
No, higher.
Higher.
Yeah, you lost all your red
Okay.
there.
And now here, we're gonna bring our red back. So warmth, this is what Lisa was asking
Yeah.
about.
Go back out and see.
Hey, Linda, do you mind muting real quick?
Yeah, I'm having trouble getting into Padlet. It's not letting me. I'm sorry.
All right, we'll work on that tomorrow if you haven't figured it out. Okay, so going back to warmth. So you guys said, you know, when I desaturate it too much, I lose the red. Correct. That is true. But with warmth,
Oh,
I can bring those colors back, right?
And well, I don't know what program you're on, but if you could select the landmass, then you could leave the.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why I use Photoshop, because I can just pick different areas. This is a very basic, this is the free one that comes with Windows.
Right.
And then with tint, so tint means, imagine I'm just putting a clear piece of colored glass over the top, or you're wearing sunglasses. Eloise, help me if I'm not describing these different levels right, but I think so. Tint, so now it's getting pinker, redder, and horrid. Right, and then it gets greener and then to blue. And there's elements here that I really like. Again, I love these dull green, kind of military
Yeah.
greens.
Khaki,
I try
khaki
and
color.
paint
Next to
with
the
those sort of
peach.
colors.
Right.
Actually,
So,
and
you know, like
so
in my
hard.
ideal version, I would have this sky and some of these colors in the, you know, but I can't because it changes everything. And then sharpness is, you know, I can make it really sharp. And a lot of times when I paint, I actually lose the sharpness just because I want to make up the details, but that's just a personal thing.
Now, I apologize. I may have missed this part because I stepped away for a minute, but when you transposed this photo, were you able to put, you know, brush strokes into it? Kind of?
Yes.
Yeah.
No, that's completely what I did is just paint
Okay.
over the top of a photo.
And you can mimic your personal brushstroke style.
I imagine you can, but no, I've not figured that out. But yeah,
Okay.
I just used a bunch of different tools, a splatter tool and a blending. I was just literally
Messing.
just playing
Messing
around.
Okay.
You can take the photo and put it into this editor and just kind of paint right on top of it. Whereas in Procreate, you have like about 100 or 150 different brushes and textures, and you can move layers and you can cut and paste and duplicate just one tree, for example, things like that. And you can flip things around. But in this, this is more like you're building on top of what you already have, or you're putting on different colored glasses, I guess, of different strength.
Right. Yeah. You guys have all put on sunglasses where sometimes it turns it grayer, sometimes it turns it browner, sometimes it makes it pink. That would be like what it is, right? It's tinted sunglasses.
And like
What you're using now is what a lot of us have that just comes
Exactly.
with Microsoft.
This is the free version. Yeah. When you just click on an image and just push edit, this is what you get.
And like, I think that the tools that you prefer really has to do with where you want your painting to go. If you work in some kind of job where you're painting all the time and there is this pressure on you to get things done and deliver them, then Procreate is amazing for that. But if it is a personal practice or discipline, this is just fine. Like, don't feel the need to go out and buy an Apple Pencil or an iPad or anything. You don't need to.
No, because I actually find if I make a really good version, like on Photoshop, then all of a sudden I feel obligated to replicate it. I would rather have a crappy but good enough version that's giving me an idea. Again, okay, so maybe this isn't something I've said today, but for me, my photos, my all the things I look at, and we'll talk about this a lot, gathering references, is I just want an inspiration.
Yeah, it's a suggestion.
Yeah.
It's
Inspiration.
not,
Yeah.
But maybe I'm like, oh, a nocturne or you know what I mean, is what I want.
Well, you can always print out one of the ones where you really like that beginning, that front part, and then do another version where you have the sky where you want it and print that out and just combine them, work from them.
That is exactly right.
Or you could go outside and paint the real thing.
Yeah, but well, that is 100% true and the most valuable thing you can do. But that's replicating. We're not trying to
replicate.
tell the story. We're trying to create the story.
I often will make a lot of my students do drills in a way. I'll give them something and then make them paint it in like 5 different color palettes. Or I'll tell them to flip the shadows around, play with that, so there's a strength in doing it in real life, but this can just give it's almost like having a coffee, it suddenly just gives you a bit of energy and it gives you ideas and it can get everything going. But at the end of the day, it does all come down to practice and like preference.
Exactly right. And yeah, I mean, all we're doing is just what feels right. And it's going to feel different for all of us.
That's good.
This is Brett. I use the tablet. I use it for editing and modifying stuff, and that's been a good. But there's certain things I prefer to do on the tablet because it gives me a lot more tools to do that with. And also, if you have a Microsoft system, your computer is a Windows-based system, they have a little program. It's like a photo editor. It's free. It's called Paint, and you can actually has some very basic brushes and color wheels, all that kind of stuff. If you want to try that without, you can buy a lot of this stuff. Get it for free.
I never looked for that.
If you go on there, you'll see Microsoft gives you a mini version of just like the photo editor that Mike's using. They also have one called Paint, and you can actually draw and paint in it. So it's an easy way to get started. You don't get to use a stylus or anything. You got to use a mouse, which would drive me crazy. But
that's all right.
I actually use a stylus on mine. But yeah, but to me, is that it allows you to play with stuff and make changes or do versions of it without ruining the painting. But also, there's sometimes, especially when you start getting advanced in some of the stuff, I'm starting to, with my blending, Blair blending, that kind of thing, I can really do some stuff that's kind of unique.
All right, so real quickly before I jump up and start painting, so here's the new version, and here's the original version. Which one do you guys prefer?
New.
Yeah, the new one.
This one?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's zoom in, and I am going to stop share. And I'm going to pin this, or remove pin here. Pin this.
Now, because of the one we chose, is that going to change your limited palette that you talked about before?
I can do a lot with that. And, again, it's just a jumping off point. But yes, it definitely could. I mean, 100%. but I'm, I already just laid out $20 worth of paint. I'm going to use it. Let's see. No, I don't know. I have no idea. Maybe it's $5. All right. So you guys see my easel?
No,
Nope.
You do not see the easel?
No, we see your smiling face.
Okay, let's do.
You had that up there before.
How about now?
Okay, yes.
yeah.
All right, so spotlight. All right. So you got my crappy photo here, which is going to give me my design.
I
You got my
put your easel.
that. Move this up, and if I paint, hopefully I'm not blocking. Perfect. Oh, we're in good shape. All right, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to take this Indian yellow because that is going to be a big base color.
Is that a board or a canvas?
This is a board.
And
I'm just using a cheap house brush just to spread my paint around.
It looks like you're using a little bit of medium as well. Is that right?
I am not using any medium.
Oh, right.
I just added quite a bit of paint. Now I'm just taking my paper towel. I'm going to spread that around. Gotta tighten this up a little bit.
Is that a relatively smooth panel, or?
It is a very, very smooth panel. So by taking the paper towel, I'm pushing the paint in. So here is something for the new students that you may not be aware of. But transparent colors, when you're working on like a gesso, which is the white, kind of painting when you buy a canvas, if it doesn't look like a canvas color, like that tan color, but it's white, it probably has a gesso on it. So gesso is a ground which is semi-absorbent generally. So when you're working with, and let me know if I need to slow down when I describe all these elements. When you're working with a transparent ground, it does something interesting. And this is, again, something I've never heard other artists talk about, but transparent paints almost work as a stain. So they kind of soak in. The longer I leave it, the better it will stain. So typically I'll kind of do this, maybe walk away for 3 to 4 minutes, and it's just kind of soaking into that gesso. Right? I'm just going to go ahead and grab another transparent color, which is a quinacridone red. And I'm going to use quinacridone red as my drawing color. So I want my horizon line, which is going to be this. Sorry about my big head. Or perfectly sized head, as I like to think of it. Right? It's just below the 50%. Like it's not exactly in the middle. I could even lower it a touch more if I wanted to. And then I'm going to just sketch in some of these big shapes. So I'm looking at it in the most basic of ways. It's almost like a no-tan. Have you guys heard the term no-tan? I'm talking to students and haven't been here, but a no-tan would be like, imagine this is a black and white. So yellow would be my white, red is going to be my black. And I'm just looking, so squint your eyes at this, and it becomes very simple. It just becomes a light and a dark. Right? So I've got this, kind of goes down into here. I've got this tree up here. And you're going to hear me say things like my tree, my horizon line, my hills. But the truth is, when I'm painting, I am not thinking things. I am thinking, and if you're a new student with me and you have your pen in your hand, write down, we do not paint things. And as you're writing that and saying, what the heck does Mike Orwick mean by that? We don't paint things. Of course we paint things. He just said he's painting a tree, he's painting a horizon line, he's painting rocks. But what we paint are shapes. We don't paint things. This, I mean, you already know this is a tree. You already know this is water. You already know this is a horizon line and these are rocks. And I've just done nothing. I've just made in lights and darks, right? We do not paint things. We paint shapes. And we paint values. Values meaning lights and darks. We paint shapes. We paint values. And as we move on in our painting, we paint colors. And we paint edges, meaning edge quality, lost edges, soft edges versus crisp and hard edges. Right? So we do not paint things. We paint shapes, edges, and we paint shapes, colors, values,
Edges.
and edges. It is not up to us. It is up to the viewer, if we do a good job, to decide what the shapes, edges, values, colors represent. Isn't that interesting? That's already something, right?
Yeah.
It's so minimal.
Do you gesso your own boards or gesso boards that are already gessoed?
Typically, yes, but this is a pre-gesso board.
Ampersand or just any kind of company?
No, I prefer a cheap form of gesso that I use, Liquitex. I think it's student grade. You're gonna find your own gesso that you like. I like it because it is more absorbent. A lot of people kind of hate it because it's absorbent, but I actually like it.
Does that mean that it's not as easy to lift?
Correct. Yeah, it is. It is being stained. As we talk, these paints are kind of locking in. They're kind of staining in there. And I'm just looking for, what a mess, right? Oh my gosh. 2.5 hours in and this is what he's giving us. All right. So I'm going to let that sit for just 1 second. I'm just going to grab a bigger brush here and I'm just going to squiggle this around.
I'm still trying to deal with the water soluble oil to see how they react.
Yeah, so water solubles you do have this opportunity. Acrylics less so. What a mess.
The only real difference with water soluble is he's using Gamma or something like that, and you're using water.
Yeah, so far I have no paint thinner in this at all. This is just straight paint.
So you could do the exact same thing then.
Yeah,
With your water
exactly.
soluble.
Exactly. Yeah,
Well-
and with the slow drying acrylics, you can do this to a degree as well. But what I love about acrylics is that you can just keep layering. You got a lot of little paint boogers, as I call them, in here. We're pulling off stuff. So
If you
let's
start the water soluble with water, though, that is somewhat different than,
I mean, he's not using any medium
right.
right now. All I'm saying is that if
Right.
he's adding a medium, if he's using Gamma, you use water.
Right.
If you like painting with linseed oil, then you would use water mixable linseed oil.
Yep.
Same with glazing. But otherwise, the techniques are the same.
Thank you. Yeah, exactly right. And so you're gonna see me a lot of times use this big fan brush. It's a fun brush to have, but if you'll, here, let me just do it again. So if I paint like this, do you guys see the glare?
Yeah.
That shine. So when I'm teaching, I won't have to do this for myself because if I just move my head, that glare moves around. But on the camera, it's always there. So I just take this super soft, it's a fan brush, but it's a really thick fan brush. And it's really soft. And all I do is just go vertically with it. And it gets rid of that glare.
I was gonna order one of those, but they come in 3 sizes. So if you were gonna work on like a 9-12, the middle size, good size,
I mean,
Rosemary's ones.
yeah, exactly. It's a rosemary brush. Yeah, I use the biggest one the most.
Oh, okay.
But again, it's not totally necessary. It's a wonderful brush. I love it. But a lot of times people misunderstand why I'm using it. I just use it to knock off that glare.
Right.
So I do the same thing with like a really cheap makeup brush that I just found laying around. So if you don't want to mint, just get a cheap, thick, like mop type makeup brush.
Yeah.
And they actually sell mop brushes.
Here's my collection of brushes. Yeah. Yeah, and these cost like less than $1, but they'll leave a lot of hairs, but they're great. Yeah, and I think, yeah, here are literally when my daughter was leaving, she left all these brushes. These are makeup brushes. And they were really, really dirty. She was just too lazy to clean them. So she was throwing them away. I'm like, I can clean that. So yeah, I've got my blending brushes, but I rarely touch them. For one, I mean, just reaching in, I can pull out a whole bunch of hairs, which can get really annoying in your painting. So
Well, the cleaning is what always bothered me. When you use it like right now, you're picking up all that kind of orangey red stuff. And then let's say you wanted to do it a little later, it's that brush is full of paint then, right?
yeah, so constantly just pulling the paint out. If I dip this into my paint thinner,
yeah,
it's almost unusable.
Yeah. Yeah. It is until
so I just use it dry and I'll just remove. And again, because I'm more of a tonalist and not so much of a colorist.
Right.
In most of my work, it doesn't matter if it's a little muddy, kind of actually adds to tonalism. All right, so really quickly, so I've just made a horrible mess, right? So I'm just gonna take a dry paper towel and I'm gonna redesign this. And now what I'm thinking is the negative shapes, meaning the sky, the water, the lights. So let's just see what happens. Ta-da! It's like somebody turns the lights on. Isn't that fun? Gosh. I don't think I even paint for you guys. I think I just paint for myself because that's like some of my favorite moments.
The great reveal.
Right? So I'm just moving my fingers, finding clean spots. If you got fat fingers like me, you get to paint faster. If you have little tiny petite fingers, it might take you a little longer. It's funny, to my right over here is the monitor, so I'm seeing what you guys are seeing. But there's like a 2-second delay. I look over and my finger's still on the painting.
Yeah.
Isn't that interesting? So you see what I'm talking about, where we don't paint things, we paint shapes and values.
Yeah.
How all of a sudden this becomes that with, this is just blobs. This is nothing. It's just blobs. Blobs of shape and color.
It's an Albert Pinkham writer painting right now.
Ooh, one of my favorites.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, Anton Pavlenko and I share a page of anytime we discover one of his new paintings, we share it with each other. All right, I'm just gonna go ahead and drag this brush, just so you guys don't have the glare. Watch how it changes. I'm gonna go ahead and take my finger. I'm gonna dip this into my paint thinner. Actually, I can even twist it a little bit. So I have a little bit finer of a thing. Otherwise, you can see how fine that is versus my finger. I'm gonna dip it into paint thinner. I don't want a lot. If I put a lot, it's got a good chance to drip down. So I may even just take it and dab it, or even dab it onto another paper towel, because I don't want a lot. I just want a little bit of paint
And for water soluble, you would just use a little water
thinner.
instead of the
Exactly.
thinner that he's using. Or you can
Exactly.
use linseed oil or something else to pick up the paint.
Yeah, you can. I mean, literally, I could just even, yeah, hit it with the paint thinner
Mhm.
or water or whatever. Just ta-da! Glowy pinkness. I mean, glowy brightness. Right? And I know these colors aren't matching, and we wanted to do more purples and pinks, but we can get to that because we're not working on the painting per se. We're working on the design and composition. If my design is not working, no amount of color and brushwork is going to paint my way out of it. So again, if you're a new student, write this down. You cannot paint your way out of bad design. So I want to make sure my design is strong. My composition, my design. I like to think of it like as the foundation of the house or the outline of the painting, right? The very much like, what is this story about?
So Michael, what design would you call this structure of your painting? It's basically an L
Yeah, it's a steel yard basically
steel.
with a bigger sky. Right, and you can see that I've moved my tree up, you know, taken away some of the sky elements, but I can also just chop that tree down if I want. That's what I like. Okay, so let's do that. Let's just, what if I didn't like that tree? Stupid tree.
Oh my.
I'm not into it for very much, right? All of it's adjustable. All of it's changeable. I can bring it down. All of this, I mean, even if I just decided none of this is working, I could wipe it all back off, and I'm only into it for a couple minutes. And that is great. That is just so liberating. Let's add more values, right? We're not painting things, we're painting shapes, values, and colors. So let's add some more value. Let's add some darks. So ultramarine is going to be my darkest color. It's also very cool. If I want to make it not so cool but still dark, I can add a little bit of my transparent earth red, and it makes this beautiful dark color. The more blue I add, the cooler it gets. The more brown I add, the warmer it gets. I can also add Indian yellow and red, let's say towards the tops where I want some glowiness. You see how adding that another slightly darker value is adding a whole nother element of value, a whole nother element of depth. Questions at this point? Is this making sense? Does it make sense that I'm making such a big mess? Does it hurt your feelings seeing this and just saying, wow, what a crazy mess? Like,
I trust you.
what's that?
I trust you.
I
I
absolutely.
believe in you.
You'll learn.
love it.
First
The-
class. You won't trust me by the end, don't worry.
M is for magic, Michael.
Yeah.
All right. I'm gonna take that big brush. So you see over here, I made a mistake and got it a little too dark and a little too big. So I can just wipe that back off. That's what I love. Like, and again, you can do this with water soluble paints. You can do that with acrylics, but with acrylics, you're just going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. I just like in this stage that my painting is not dear. It's not precious. I'm just thinking of the what ifs.
And the neat thing about this wipe away method is you can, this is where all of your Bob Ross happy accidents will come in.
Exactly. You and I talked about that yesterday.
And where your painting becomes more organic. You're now moving away from being a photographer to a poet.
I just posted some pictures in the chat and a little thing about you can't paint your way out of bad design. And I have photos of this curtain I was painting, and like I spent so long getting it perfect, getting all the light moving beautifully, all this stuff, and I just had to kill it. I just had to completely sand it back and get rid of it. And you know, you can paint something and be really attached to it because it's technically well done, but if it doesn't work, then you know it has to go. You have to kill your darling. That's what I like to
know when to kill your babies.
Yep.
The worst saying ever, but the one that's really stuck with me. I've told that story 100 times, but yeah, in my freshman year of college art, I had the most delightful grandma to all the art students, Elsa Warnick. She was just the best, but too sweet, too, you know, she spent half the class telling us how we needed to eat better and drink, you know, more water. And she just wanted us all to be healthy young art students. And one time she just comes around to me and I'm working on a painting probably for multiple days. And she just puts her hand on my shoulder and gets in close to me and just says, honey, sometimes you gotta know when to kill your babies. And she was right. It's just like to restart the painting took me, you know, 1 hour, but to try to save a painting that wasn't hardly savable because the design was wrong, I could have spent forever.
Question,
yeah, I
was
spent
it
weeks.
just use blue and red there and with some white? Is that?
Yeah, I'm just making kind of a dirty purpley pink. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm still using the same colors. So even though all of a sudden I introduced purple, right? It still harmonizes because it's still using this very limited palette. At least I hope so.
And I feel like with such a warm painting and that really luminous gold, you do need to have something kind of muted and cooler or like dirtier almost to
Mhm.
not pull the focus away. That's what I learned recently with this bloody curtain.
Oh, I just tried to open your window, I mean, one of your pictures, and it said there, it's danger, it might be dangerous for my, so I don't know what, maybe because I'm opening on an iPad, I don't know. So
Those
I,
Australians.
My
always trying to-
computer did the same thing.
Okay, interesting. Maybe I'll post it on Padlet for like an hour and then delete it because we must save data.
yeah, that would be good on Padlet.
I think it's because of the file type that HEIC doesn't always open. If it's like a JPEG or a PNG or even a PDF, then you can open it,
Yeah.
no problem.
Yeah, it's just like a phone camera format. Oh,
Right.
that's an
When I was
interesting.
teaching, I wasn't able to open those because the school blocked that format for some reason. So
I think it's,
students had to resubmit with PDF or PNG or something.
I think it's an Apple format, which isn't used by,
Isn't it funny that we are painters and artists and everything, but then we're also like IT as well sometimes?
That's how life is beginning to get.
Oh, yeah.
It's just igniting new brain cells and pathways in our brain. So keep doing it.
I teach a lot of kids who are in primary school or elementary school age, and I'll always ask them, "How was your week?" Blah, blah, blah. And they'll always complain that they have tests on maths or math, And I try and gently tell them that to be an artist, you're actually a mathematician. You're putting maths into some kind of visual and beautiful representation, but it is all very mathematical stuff if you think that way anyway. And it's good to be able to see all arts in that way because it makes perspective easier and you can calculate the colors that you need and how much of it needs to be on the canvas and things. So
yeah, that's
any
fine.
maths?
I just did this with my granddaughter. I was just trying to tell her that she would need ratios if she ever decided she wanted to be a painter.
Oh, for sure. I think ratios are one of the most important things. Just what is balance? What is, it's constantly balanced, but you don't want real balance. You want organic balance.
For instance, just open your hand widely and then wrap your fingers down to your palm and put your thumb over it and look at it. It's Fibonacci's code.
I'm just going to take and smooth this out again. I'll clean this brush just a little bit, but watch what happens, I hope.
So you do that regularly. You do the smoothing out after you finish each lay-in of the.
I do it for you guys because see how you can't even see the colors? Watch what happens.
So you don't do it for yourself. You don't do a smoothing out like that.
No, I don't need to because I just move my head and the glare goes away. But for you guys, because the camera's in it, see how all of a sudden the colors come out?
Yeah.
Would
But
you
it
like
does settle the color down, doesn't it? The paint settles down a bit when you do that, right?
It does, yes, you're right. It's not as vibrant, but I generally don't need it as vibrant.
Would you mind posting at some point the exact specs for that brush, like what the number is and
It's on our Padlet under
That's not on the Padlet.
yeah, it's on there.
oh
Yeah,
thank you.
It's just the biggest one, I think.
It's also in Rosemary Company. You can't miss it. Go to the the brush company. The
Yeah, it
Rose-
might be called the Monday brush or something like that. Monday mop.
Yeah,
Wendy Mom. Mm-hmm.
I remembered the Monday part, but I couldn't remember the rest.
Thank you.
And they have a set of them, and I ordered the set just because it wasn't that much more expensive. And I found that I really use even the smaller ones for when I want to blend something. They're really,
Yeah.
they're
Yeah, I
beautiful.
use the small one a lot of times when I just
Yeah.
want to get into like a little area.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
good.
it's great brush, great
Oh,
brush.
But they are expensive, but they just don't leave them sitting in your paint thinner or water. Just clean them and get them out. And I generally can just pull the paint out. Again, I don't use too much paint thinner with them. And I'm basically the paint's only getting on the very ends, right? When I do this, it's not like a paintbrush where the paint's getting down into the brush. It's just kind of sitting on the top.
Yeah, I had one of those a long time ago and it just got gunked up with paint and I realized.
Yeah. If it dries on there, it's going to be pretty tough.
Yeah.
So now I'm just adding some texture and some warmth into the foreground. And again, I'm not thinking things. I'm not, I know these represent bushes and plants, but I'm never thinking that. I'm just like, over here, we got some warmer shapes that go into here, one of the biggest things I learned and that has helped me the most is, just shapes and values, especially in the beginning of a painting.
Some of us have a very difficult time doing that.
I know, but you got to stop saying
Shapes.
I know, but I'm 77 and it's hard to change at this point.
No,
Bless your heart, you young lady.
Happy birthday. It's a great age.
Yeah.
All right, let's see what happens if I create even more of a gradation. Let's take some.
what I find difficult is as I started all plein air painting, outdoors, whatever, I've had a lot of trouble shifting to painting from photographs. I'm finding it, because look at how dark that photograph looks.
Oh
compared
yeah, but
to
that's
your
what's so,
doing.
you are right. It is difficult.
That's where your memory comes in,
Yeah.
And just an invitation to create detail and information.
And I think it's also the opportunity to add that story, what feeling are you looking for?
Yeah, and I could lighten this up. Let's just, let's pretend that the shadows are only underneath, not on the whole back side. They're going to be on the whole back side because it's backlit, right? So this is all in shadow.
Yeah.
But let's pretend that light's, ricocheting off the tops of the sky and coming back down and getting onto the top. So only the underside back is in real shadow, right? So if it's ricocheting off the top of the sky, it's going to be a cooler light than this, right? Than this real strong light coming. So I'm thinking about that. So I can create a light, but it's got to be cooler. So I'm, you see me mixing up just different grays and just testing. I'm like, okay, I like this one. So now I'm painting the tops of those trees, those branches. I can come in with the tops of these grasses. And I hate that glare. That glare is killing me. Let's get rid of it. And you guys saw that I added pink in here.
Mm-hmm.
The pink, gray, whatever color that is. And so I'm going to clean my brush. I'm going to go across my sky first. If I get into here and then come across into my sky, it's going to, infect it, right, a little more than I want. So let's just.
And that brush is completely dry, right?
Yeah, I mean, I've never dipped it in paint thinner, if that's what you mean.
Yeah.
But I've
Okay,
just, I've never cleaned it besides just wiping it off. Oh, look at that. See how that blends and creates this harmony? Let's add, before I go too much further, I'm going to add more pinky yellow. I'm going to create more of a transition here. I hope. This brush is pretty dirty. Let's see if I can get away with it. nope, I can't. That it's making, you can't see it here, but this is too dirty. Right? So instead of putting it and fighting it, I'm just gonna remix it. Just grab a brush that's brand new, clean, and just remix that
Too
color.
dirty as in mixed with some blues or something? What do you mean? by
Just
that?
all the colors. I've been using that same brush to paint
Okay.
the whole
Yeah,
painting.
yeah.
But I have not dipped anything into paint thinner once. None of these brushes have touched paint thinner. And what do you also notice about these brushes?
They're
Pretty rugged.
They're
rough.
pretty crappy. Those are all house painting brushes. I haven't used, besides this one really nice expensive brush, I haven't used any nice brushes. I have nothing against them. I mean, yeah, I have stacks and stacks and stacks of nice brushes. And I'll use those, but I usually, in this beginning stage, again, this is me just kind of figuring out design and composition. So I like that warmth, but what do you guys notice about it? It's overly dark, right?
Yeah, values.
All right, yeah.
Yeah, the value's wrong. So I'm just gonna add some white to that. Maybe even more than that. Let's get a little of that into the water. Bring some of that other color. Still, what a mess. Right? But something's happening. It's developing. At this stage, a lot of times I think of painting as sculpting. I'm just adding clay, taking away clay. Ooh, I like that sky though.
Wash your sun a little bit.
All right, now I'm just gonna take my paper towel again. And I'm gonna dip it in paint thinner a little bit. And I'm just gonna come back in and clean and figure out this shape, because right now this is crooked and a little bit awkward. It's always hard for me to paint because I'm standing to the right side of my painting. Like if I was actually painting it, I'd be right here, which wouldn't be as fun to watch.
Looks like a very rough brush.
Yeah, it is a very rough brush. So yeah, it's funny trying to make good horizontal or vertical lines when you're standing beside a thing, but that's okay.
You made a comment earlier, sort of implying that when you're painting outdoors, you're just copying. And I find that's what happens to me when I work from photographs, is that I end up feeling like, oh, I better copy this thing, because I'm not getting any inspiration from it in the way that I do when I'm outside. Outside, I see all that variety of color, and I can choose different things. It presents me with more options, I think, than photographs do. Photographs are great for composing. You know, they give you ideas. I don't know. It just doesn't, I certainly don't feel like I'm copying when I'm outdoors.
And I get so overwhelmed by all those choices that I can't paint.
Oh,
Exactly. Yeah.
I just started doing plein air painting this summer. I started doing it for a couple months now. What I find is very, very useful to me is take out a viewfinder and
yeah.
and use that and try to keep it to 4 or 5 big shapes and then work from there. And I simplify it, and that helps me a lot. So I've always been a figure painter. I always prefer a real person to a picture. I'm sort of starting to feel the same way about landscape. But
well, the thing about landscape painting is, I mean, because I used to do it a lot, and I discovered what Sargent did with the lily painting, the famous lily painting of the little girls, where he had them
Lily,
pose.
Lily Rose.
Yeah, he had them pose, and it would be like 15 minutes or something before the sun, and then he would wait till the next day. And I discovered that worked really well for me. I'd go out and I'd paint for an hour, hour and a half, maybe 3 hours, but I'd bring the painting in. And sometimes then I just work on it in the studio and then take it back out again.
Yeah, that's an interesting way to do it.
Well, it gives you an opportunity to kind of do both things. You get both inspiration, the inspiration that inside the studio that you get just looking at it and thinking, I really don't like that yellow. I really like it more. And then you go back outside and you see that you maybe miss things, you know, and but I'm older now. You're only in your 70s. I'm in my 80s. It takes energy to, you know, I've got the smallest equipment possible, but it's still, it takes energy and courage to take yourself outside in the weather. And
Understood.
yeah.
And you obviously have a favorite place to paint that you frequent.
You know, it's funny. One of the things that's happened in this period, this long time lapse, is I'm no longer as interested in some of those things that I painted. I realized I don't want to paint boats. I live I'm in a seaside. I'm in a little fishing village. I'm not that interested in boats anymore. I want green things. I want more woods.
It's beautiful, Michael.
See, what I like watching you because you're finding it.
I love the cloud colors now. The cloud colors.
Yeah, those are beautiful.
Yeah.
Amazing. It looks like one of Linda's desert skies.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, so I mean, now I've got it blocked in. So now I could, I could let it tack up for like 10 to 15 minutes, which would make it easier to add. But I can also just go, okay, you know what? It's blurry, it's blendy, but I really like some of the things that are going on. Now I can just literally start loading up some paint. And I can just start painting as long as I have a light touch. So let's add some light to these grasses and foreground things here, right? Can you guys see that?
Yeah. Yes.
Let's add a little more light to that color.
Michael, on your monitor, is that the same color as your painting?
Pretty close, yeah.
Yeah, because we had a problem with that at one time.
Oh yeah, that was when I was trying to use, Now I'm using an iPhone to photograph, and it seems to get much better colors. It's the brand new iPhone, so. But now I can just come in and start, really thinking about color and shapes and, the minutia of the painting.
That's all fine and good, but I sort of like the mystery.
Yeah, and now I'm trying to decide what elements are interesting. I think it's about the light traveling through here, which also means, bringing in some of the shadow, the darks. And again, if I let this set up just a little bit, start to tack up the paint, it would be a lot faster. That's one of the great things about acrylics. Whereas with oils coming back in, it starts to pick up the paint a little bit, and there's that little bit of combat between, adding paint and letting it sit. This is a pretty firm, crappy brush. So what I could do is just grab a softer bristle brush, and then I should be able to lay paint right on top. Okay, we're about a half hour long, which is pretty normal for my classes. Thank you guys so much for sitting and letting me, describe Padlet and kind of my ideas and thoughts for the class. This is the first time I've ever done the story of landscape painting and how do we bring that across, even though I think we've talked about it and kind of hinted at it in, previous classes quite a bit. I thought it'd be fun to deep dive into those thought processes,
Process. Yeah.
process. And so I think this is going to be a really fun class as far as conversations about kind of where we let the ideas lead us. I'm excited to work with Cheryl and, trying to decide, how do we figure out what that story is in an image that's not there yet? But how do we bring that out? Is it design? Is it color? Is it composition? Is it, what I mean? All those different things, all these different tools that we have.
I love the phrase that the one you used. What is about to happen or just happened?
Yeah, right.
Really like that.
I think this one is about to happen.
Yeah, maybe. Let's see what happens if we really make it bright. Let's take a Q-tip. Let's get in some of these interesting little negative shapes. Because you see what's really fun over here is these little negatives, these little cut-ins.
Yeah.
And over here it's just become a big blob, right? So let's try and find some of those negative shapes. See how that just made a difference?
Mm.
A lot of times it doesn't take much.
Are you rolling or dabbing?
Rolling and throwing away.
Now, this may be just because my screen is small. I'm on my phone, but I'm a little bit confused by the vertical shape on the horizon to the right of what you're working on right now.
Yeah.
Right
Yeah.
here.
Yeah.
That's our little baby tree, but it got a little too
Yeah, it's a little bit much.
Is there something in the original there? I guess that's what I'm not
There
seeing.
is, but not, you can hardly see it.
Yeah.
Oh, okay,
Tiny
okay.
little,
Even on my
teeny
big computer, you can hardly see it.
Yeah, and I can decide, like, is that a good ad or is it distracting? Like
I
Does it
found
go-
it distracting.
right. Let's just see if we can make it less distracting. And if not, I'm not afraid to mow down a couple trees.
If it was a little person, then
It's too brilliant.
Just burning through Q-tips.
Q-tips are a relatively recent phenomenon. When I started painting 40 years ago, nobody used Q-tips, even though it's such a good thing.
Yeah, they're just little tiny erasers.
On my small screen, it looks like a red lighthouse. I thought, well,
Yeah,
that could be
it kinda does.
something about to happen.
Let's just chop it down and see what happens.
I think if it were more not red,
We'll never know.
we'll never know. It's just my magic. It's gone.
I guess the storm is passing.
Makes quite a difference.
I think I like that better.
Mhm.
That stupid red white lighthouse.
Yeah.
Well, you've got a little something there that actually looks more like that little tree than what.
I feel much better.
Mhm.
Okay, good.
I do too. I
It's
do
not
too.
all about me, I'm just saying. It was kind of
Yeah.
like in those movies where somebody says mole, like they can't look away from a mole on something. I don't know, but thank you. For me,
Yeah,
that
no, it
makes it
is
more
absolutely like that. Yeah.
clear.
All right. I'm gonna go ahead and just wipe away some highlights in these grasses in the foreground, and that'll probably be about the last thing. Just because we gotta be done here soon. But so I could come back in, and I will come back in and paint these highlights in. But I just want to kind of mimic what I feel like would look like if the light, the light is hitting some of these grasses and shrubs. And
I'm gonna have to head off. It's 6 a.m. here, and I have 3 hounds in need of walking. So, it's really good to see everybody again, and this was really good. I feel like I've already improved what I've been doing. So,
I
good to
can't
see
wait
you.
to see your new paintings.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye,
Have a
Eloise.
great day.
I'm just gonna leave it there because we are out of time. But I think, you guys can see kind of the idea of just shapes, values, colors. I'll come back in and refine some of those brush strokes, let that set up just a little bit, and then I will come back in and start actually painting over it. But all this makes sense, you guys?
Yeah.
It
Yes.
does.
That's
Wonderful.
Yeah, your
Very
paintings make
exciting.
me- Your paintings make me happy.
When will you paint? When will you paint over it?
Probably like 2 days would be tacked up.
Yeah.
Okay.
Uh,
Film it.
yeah,
Film it.
No, you wait a couple of days.
Yeah, please do. film it.
Generally, I mean, the earth red that I mix in makes all the paints dry faster. So it might be a little faster. We'll see. I just wait till I'm not just mushing, or I could just remove some paint or whatever, like I'm doing with the Q-tips. I can just kind of come in and remove areas that I want to come in and add lighter paint on top and everything else. But anyways, I just wanted to say thank you, Gail, Linda, Darlene, Manjay, I will get better. Rajini, Cheryl, Nyla, Beverly, Linda, Graham, Jada, not Jada, Brett, and Lisa. It's so good to see all of you guys, and welcome to class. And I think we're gonna have a great time. I think this is a really wonderful group. I think we're gonna come in with a lot of interesting ideas and have some really great conversations. And yeah, join me tomorrow. Join us tomorrow. If you would like to just hang out and paint, or just hang out and talk and drink your coffee or whatever else, 9 to 12 Pacific Standard Time. I sent the link in the first email, and I'll send it again here with the videos. It is a different link right now than the
Okay.
class link. It's not
Okay.
the same because we're using my wife's Zoom link.
I'll probably
And yeah,
I'll
go
miss
ahead.
tomorrow. I'll probably miss tomorrow. I have some appointments that I have to go to, but I
Sure.
plan on coming to the Thursday. I'll try and come in sometime if I.
Great.
Yeah,
Great. Well, I look forward to, so your homework.
Yeah.
Is to make a painting with a title is a question.
Yeah.
Think
And-
poetically, think minimally. And we're just loosening up. Again, if you're anything like me, I did not paint nearly as much as I normally do this summer. It's been fun and happy. I've just been at Regini's house eating food all summer. And anyways, just loosen up, have fun, start to think of some of these ideas and these assignments. If you have some paintings or photos that you're curious about, like why I'm excited to paint this, but why am I not painting it? Let's attack it as a group and come in and see if we can't come in with some solutions.
Fantastic.
Great.
Perfect.
And also, if you can take a picture of where your painting is now, and then if there's some way to show the changes that you make, because for a while you were talking about how you used to think you had to overpaint everything, and then you started realizing people liked your work sometimes less
love-
finished than you thought was necessary.
Love
Mhm.
to see the
That makes any
continuation.
sense?
Yeah, I agree with that.
Great. Yeah, I'll take a photo before I overwork it.
Yes.
Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
I'm just
Good.
curious as to what you think needs adding.
Yeah, and that's what's nice about taking a little bit of a break. I mean, I might still, I'll definitely paint a little more today just to refine so I don't have big old scribbly marks on it. But yeah, I like to take that little bit of a break, whether it's just walking the dogs or whether walking the dog singular or literally going to bed. You know, getting a little bit of a fresh view of it. You
Yeah.
can see how much bigger my tree is than the reference, right?
Mm.
And I have to decide, am I blowing out the illusion or does that actually make it more impactful, you know, having that? So yeah, it's always asking questions.
Mm.
So that's it. Remember that all painting is setting yourself up a problem that has 100 solutions or asking a question that has 1,000 answers.
Thank you for a great first class back.
Yep.
That was awesome. Really looking forward to
Yeah.
It's
You guys are
fantastic.
fantastic.
Thank you,
Thanks
Michael.
for letting me soft shoe my way in.
You're awesome.
Look forward to talking to you guys tomorrow or next week. And
Thank you so much.
Okay.
Thank you.
take
Take
care,
care.
everybody.
Thanks, everybody.
fun.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye for now.
yeah.